Folks, one thing is for certain in this crazy world we all live in today, when it comes to the workplace, imagination is everything. And that's all the way across the board. It doesn't matter the industry. It doesn't matter the position within the company. Sometimes you just need to let your imagination flow. If it's for no other reason than to relax, but maybe it's going to spark the energy that you need to come up with the next latest, greatest widget for whatever it is you're up to. It's exactly where we are today on the show, folks. This one's going to be rather interesting. Please pay attention. The name of the company we're chatting with today is Audiojack, Mr. Audiojack himself, and my guest, David Tobin, right here on the show. Hey, David, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And I got to say, I enjoyed reading everything on your background today, particularly as to what you were doing when you came up with the idea for Audiojack in the first place. So before there was Audiojack, there was David. What were you doing?
Producing TV shows, working in some of the first reality shows ever, and then kind of evolving them into where they're at now. And so, working on a pilot for one of my other shows one night, had access to a whole bunch of sound design and stayed up all night playing with them. And that's how Audiojack was born.
And what was the timeline on this? When did Audiojack become into fruition?
So I came up with the concept a while ago, but it's been a company for 6 years now.
For 6 years, okay. Well, you know what? For a guy that's interviewed over 2,800 people, mostly small business owners and entrepreneurs, 5 years the magic number. Once you get to 5 years, you got it going on. So you've exceeded that by 20% already. Congratulations. Audiojack is indeed legit, as if you needed me to tell you that. So
Thanks.
I'm ready to get into it. Is there any way to sample this or anything? I'm beyond curious as to what this is.
Absolutely. Okay, so for those that don't know, an Audiojack is an audio-based movie. There's no words, there's no video, and there's no music. It's all sound design. It's hundreds of sounds that are edited together to tell a story for your imagination. And there's a mobile app that has all the content in it and a whole bunch of different categories. And what we're going to do is we're going to listen to just a quick sample. They go from 2 minutes to some are almost 20 minutes long. We're just going to do a quick 30-second sample so you can understand the concept. And then we can talk about how it's used and get in a little bit deeper. So Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, great. So just going to close your eyes. If there's you guys at home, everyone just close your eyes, let your imagination go. And whatever story you come up with, whatever starts to unfold, that's what it is. There is no wrong answer. This isn't guess the sounds. This is let your imagination take over. You ready?
Ready to go.
All right, here we go. Okay, there's just a very, very quick little sample. We have a longer one if we want to, dive into that later.
Sure.
For you, but just first thoughts. What came to your mind when you listened to that?
I felt like I was riding on a train through a jungle with helicopters flying over me, and then I was dropped off at the end, and everybody left me. That's what I got out of it.
That's awesome. I mean, that's great. So that's wonderful. That's from an Audiojack in our action adventure category called Live Forever. And the story goes on from there, and it really unfolds into a really unique way.
Well,
was it date? Oh, good.
No, I was going to say, I mean, it's fascinating, but I've got to ask the obvious question here, Dave, if I may. How does this apply to the work? How can this help me in my office environment?
Absolutely. So we're on screens in some capacity now for upwards of 14 hours a day. You wake up, people are on their phone, then they look at their TV before they go to work. A lot of us work in front of computers all day long, and then we go home and we're probably in front of a screen again of some capacity. But also, what's happened through this process is we're stagnating the ability to refresh our minds, and that's done through daydreaming. Generally, when people have time to take a break throughout the day, they pull out their phone, and they're not letting their mind process information throughout the day. We did a study with UC Riverside's brain program, and we had people in work environments and basically it was, I think, 350 different people, do a study where they worked throughout the day and they took a 10-minute Audiojack break or other breaks throughout the day, and everyone's productivity went up, their attention went up, and they were less tired. And it's because the mind is getting a chance to refresh itself. And that's where we dove into the science of this, because it sounded really odd at the beginning. This when we got into it, we're like, can daydreaming actually be good for you? Because I've been told my whole life I need to stop. But after diving into the science of it, you actually get a light form of REM activity. And that's why taking a break, people promote taking a nap in some capacity, because it lets our mind disassociate from what's keeping us occupied throughout the day and the stress, and we get to focus and let our mind wander. And so there's actually a synaptic change and other elements happening in the mind. And so we work with programs all over, have been using Audiojack and taking Audiojack breaks. Sometimes they all listen to it and people share stories. Microsoft has brought it as part of a wellness initiative. They've been using it for their employees at their events and also promoting it throughout their culture, as a way to take time away from a screen in a meaningful way.
You know, it's interesting you said that last statement, because one of the first uses I thought of this is exactly what you just said for wellness programs. You know, we're shooting today on a Wednesday. At my wife's office, it's Wellness Wednesdays, so maybe that's why it was top of mind, but I could totally understand the concept there of what this could do. And I would even take it a step further as far as team building events, if you will, to where you get the whole room full of people and they're listening. We just had a little 30-second piece. I totally get that there's long ones, but everybody could listen, formulate their own stories, and then share their stories with each other. And I think it would be interesting the way, I'm real big on personality styles within the workplace, and it'd be interesting to see how the different personality styles came up. I'm sure are going to come up with different stories. Have you done anything along those lines as to how different people listen to the same stuff and have totally different stories?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of it. There's two tools with Audiojack. One is the content in the app, and having access to listening to it. But then the other part of it is how you share your story afterward, because there's no wrong answer. We never tell you what the story is that we had with this when we came up with it. So you could be listening and think you're running through a forest being chased by a teddy bear and lasers are coming out of its eyes, while your coworker has a completely different story. And that's the beauty of it. So it allows us to connect on a platform that's universal. So there's a bit of social emotional learning with that too, I think.
So how is this being received? I mean, it seems like it'd be received very well in the brain areas of California, but has this worked this way all across the country? Different. I mean, how are you doing in the Midwest? Let's just go there.
Okay. Well, I'm originally from Chicago, so
there you go. You're perfect.
So I cheated a bit there, so I know people out there. So it's gone really well through the Midwest, these other areas, because what we found is that people are really starting to realize they're looking for something other than meditation or a coffee break or something else to engage because of the overstimulation we're getting. And so we found a lot of success across businesses in these other areas. And part of it is, like, we worked with Bose for a while. We've been a part of their augmented reality program. They've used it in other programs that mix into the Midwest and the South and other areas like that. A lot of programs. I know we work with like Texas School for the Blind. They've used it. I know corporations out in Texas and Oklahoma, we've gotten emails from. We've even gotten photos of people that, it's interesting you mentioned the Wellness Wednesday element, because we've seen where businesses will say, hey, we're doing an Audiojack session today, and they carve out a chunk of time. Everyone gets together. They play the Audiojack on a speaker system. They listen to it once and brainstorm. And there's activities in the app to kind of help you do these. And then they do it again, everyone shares. And now they've spent an hour without a screen, but they've done team building, as you mentioned.
I think it's fantastic for the Wellness Wednesday aspect, because I would be, shall we say, apprehensive to bring a change of clothing to go through a yoga class. I would look forward to doing this. I would look forward to Audiojack rolling through my office, because I totally get the importance of being able to take a little bit of downtime throughout the day, and the fact that you realize that everybody else at all levels within the company does the same thing. I think that just the unity right there speaks volumes, no pun intended, before you even get into the Audiojack part. I totally get it, man. And there's so many aspects of this, and I hate we only had 10 minutes today, but I know people can certainly go to the website, which we'll have here on the screen, to get more information. But sure. I sincerely hope we can get you back on here. We got a lot more stuff to discuss, and I'm going to let Russell run me through this later at the end of the day. I'll come up with some more stories and share those with you later. But for now, thank you for everything, Audiojack. I like it. I like what it's got going.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Great seeing you. Take care.